Hello, it is still February 10th, Wednesday, 2016, Comic Book Day. In the first part of this week's reviews, we reviewed a bunch of Marvel books, a lot of which had Kamala Khan in them. And this week, this video, for DC, all of the books have Batman play a large part in them. I got confused because our first book is Batman, Superman. This follows where we left off with Batman and Superman investigating the corpse of a giant corpse on the moon that summoned them as her last kind of dying wish. At the end of that issue, something big was approaching, and in this issue, we find out that something big was the giant's father. So, seeing this as their only kind of lead to the investigation, Batman and Superman both agree to kind of hop on his ship and see what they can learn about the daughter's murder from the father, if the father knew anything. Father's actually quite reasonable to these little tiny stowaways on his ship and explains kind of where the daughter's last whereabouts were. They happen to be near something called the Scorch Zone, which is a giant yellow sun. So Batman and Superman split up. Superman goes to the Yellow Sun, while Batman stays back to see what he can get out of the father. Any more information about the daughter's murder. Meanwhile, Lobo is hot on both of their trails. For some reason, somebody has hired Lobo to kill Batman and Superman, and Lobo is focusing on Batman because he's not the one headed off to a giant sun called the Scorch Zone. So Batman does some detective work on the dead body. Meanwhile, Superman, and I love this page. I love these pages I'm about to show you. Superman goes to the Scorch Zone to rescue the last Kryptonian, or the other last Kryptonian that the daughter wrote about on the moon before she died. I just love this page. This just really epic, heroic-looking Superman flying above the giant sun. It's just so cool. This page is so cool. And so we have Superman going off to rescue this Kryptonian by flying through the sun. We have Batman doing his detective stuff on the spaceship. And then we find out how the two come ahead. Or come to a head, rather. Eventually, Batman and Lobo have a little fight. And things aren't as they seem. The father might not have been entirely as benevolent as he first appeared. Things might have been a bit too easy for Batman and Superman, so things only get a little worse from here on in. After this kind of really solid, just, really helpful. Okay, I'm going to go here, you go here. That's our plan. Plans get derailed, of course, and so that is how this issue ends, with things kind of going to shit, which is good for story, right? You want some conflict in your story. It's interesting. The whole setup is now there's like a mystery. Who hired, Lobo to kill Batman and Superman? What do they want? What's this last Kryptonian have to do with any of it? What's the giant father have to do? A lot of pieces all in play at once. And just some really good character work, too. I like the dynamic between Batman and Superman. There's a scene early on when Superman and Batman have a conversation about Batman needing help. And then coming up with a secret code phrase, so if Batman does need help, he can say that and not alert anybody to the fact that Batman needs help. Sorry, dealing with a bit of a cold. The art is fantastic, as I said before, with the standout being the page with Superman in the sun. It's just so cool. Other than that, really not much to say. Just kind of a solid issue in a Batman-Superman story. Batman's characterized well. We see him actually doing some deduction and some detective work, which is nice. Superman, of course, is just incredibly likable, jumps at the first opportunity to help someone. We see him as being really powerful. No complaints really here with Batman, Superman. Next up, we have Batman and Robin Eternal, issue number 19, and I think it's pretty clear we are nearing the end here because the entirety of this issue takes place in one location. It's all takes place in Saint Hadrian's School. As following from the last issue, Mother has activated Ithacus, or whatever it is, and is taking control of all of the children in the area of St. Hadrian's School, which means that the Robins and Helena and everyone else we've been rooting for this this kind of entire storyline has to find their way out of a school infested by mother-controlled assassin children. It plays a lot like a zombie movie in that you have this kind of unending horde of kill death that is slowly encroaching on everybody as they have to find a way to escape or survive. And meanwhile, like in a zombie movie or like most zombie stories, some people you thought were heroic get turned. The younger members of the team are susceptible to Ithacus. So we have people like Tim and Harper and Cass who have to fight back Mother's mind control. And the best way to do that is with Scarecrow's fear gas, which isn't the best solution to a problem when focus and confidence and skill is necessary in order to survive. So we see Tim here, who is fighting back the Mother's mind control with Scarecrow gas and what he sees, and you have the tears running down his eyes and him having to fight through the fear now instead of having to fight Mother's Mother control. So yeah, like I said, this story takes place in, it's basically one block of story instead of getting kind of slivers of A, B, and C plots. It's just all A plot here, which is, it's a lot easier to read than some of the previous issues of Batman and Robin Eternal. And we're definitely reaching ahead. We're reaching a point in the story where things are beginning to solve themselves. The mystery is kind of all done with. We have some villains escape. We have the heroes having to, hold off this horde of children. But it seems like the rest of the book is going to be mostly action and things resolving themselves and things completing and finishing. As we get, I think it's only going to be a 26-issue series. So as we go to those last 7 issues, kind of the last third, it's all going to be downhill momentum from here, which is good, which is nice. The art in this book is not the best. There are some really weird faces that people make, but other than that, story is well paced. Quite enjoyed it. Again, kind of the zombie thing going on here with the tension and atmosphere. Everyone trapped in a house and all that. But yeah, pretty solid issue of Batman and Robin Eternal. And the last book from DC this week, the last Batman book, is, of course, Batman number 49, and I am going to try and talk about this book as less I can, because it's really good. I'm going to put up a spoiler alert now, because just talking about this book is kind of a spoiler. And this is the last book review of the video, so if you don't want any spoilers for Batman, thank you for watching up to this point. But now that that's over with, if you don't mind spoilers, in this issue, Bruce Wayne becomes Batman again. We see him activate the machine that was talked about way in the beginning of the arc. Bruce Wayne finally finds it, decides to turn it on, and become Batman again. This story begins with Alfred begging Bruce Wayne not to. Alfred doesn't want to kill Bruce Wayne again, even if it means Batman lives. But Bruce eventually pushes past that, and we see the effects of the machine. And the way the machine works is really cool, because it plays a lot with the future Batman scenarios that Scott Snyder has set up in the past issues of his run on Batman. So you have this parallel story arc with this kind of futuristic super Batman who lives in Wayne Tower and dresses. Let me show you the costume. And dresses like this and seems to have the full city. Like, everyone knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman, and he has like the full support of the city behind him. This is kind of like Kamen Rider Batman or something. Really cool. And at first it seems like an alternate future or something, but then we learn it's the machine. That for the machine to work, or the way that the machine works, is running Bruce Wayne's mind through hundreds of different Batman simulations and killing him in all of them. And it's just so fantastic that, when this machine was like introduced, you think, oh, we see Batman go in one page at the end of an issue, then the first page of the next issue, Bruce Wayne is Batman again or something. But the way that Scott Snyder and Dan Caputo actually make this machine work, it's actually, this isn't Caputo, is it? It is Yannick Paquette who's actually illustrating this. So definitely shout out, like, props to Paquette for doing the art here. I only just noticed it wasn't Caputo. They really got that style down. And now that I'm looking closer at it, I can tell that I don't know, I'm just so used to saying Snyder and Caputo, I guess. But yeah, the art is fantastic, and then all these different Batman worlds. You have like the all-white future Batman. You have later on you have let me flip through the pages. You have like a Batman kind of like Super Heavy where Gordon is Batman and it's Detective Wayne. Yeah, I don't know what this Batman is. You have like a weird Batman with a mustache. Don't know what that's about. But yeah, it's really cool seeing how this machine actually works, and then, in parallel to that, seeing the toll it takes on Bruce Wayne to have all of this trauma and all of this experience and all this Batman stuff shoved onto him by this machine instead of living it organically as he did in the past. It's just a really inventive, innovative issue of Batman. And I think it also is a neat little corollary or parallel or whatever to the way that kind of Grant Morrison writes the Batman and writes that Bruce Wayne Batman dynamic where it's like Bruce Wayne training himself and over his career has been on so many drugs and like just so many things that the Batman personality is kind of hardwired in a way in his subconscious and everything. So it's a neat little divergent tract from the Morrison Batman psychology into the Snyder version and seeing everything he goes through in that way. So yeah, Batman 49, definitely a really, really cool issue of Batman. Really enjoyed it. And that is it for DC books this week. If you're interested in what I thought of Marvel books that came out this week, that is in part 1. If you're interested in some not Marvel or DC books that I picked up and will read this week, that is going to be in part 3 of this week's review. So watch that if you are so inclined. If not, I want to thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please rate it. If you feel like it, please subscribe. Any comments, questions, anything whatsoever, leave them down below and I will do my best to get to them. And thank you for watching, and I hope that you will join me for some more comic book reviews.